road south continues in the Dakar. Competitors discover the first dunes of the rally and the famous Mazuga erg. A very bad day indeed for Mitsubishi, and especially for two-time event winner Hiroshi Masuoka. The Japanese suffered a big crash. David Prétignier started the rally with a clear intention of worrying the KTM favourites. Not an easy task on his smaller 450cc machine. Yesterday, and a look back at the first African special. Familiar tracks for many, but also a new experience for the others, the newcomers. Amazing sceneries that only Morocco can offer. The first long, dusty stretches. This is the Dakar, and this is why the event is so huge, but also so difficult. And it wasn't a surprise if many witnessed their first desert nightmares. And that indeed was the case for Swiss quad rider Marcus Senn, forced to stop in the dust of the other passers-by. A mechanical upset on his Kawasaki.
It's everything okay with me, thank you, yeah. There's only technical problems.
You have a technical problem?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
A technical problem indeed for the Swiss rider.
He's 5-year-old, and she say it's for you, Daddy, that you drive careful in the desert.
Careful and cautious indeed. A clutch problem on the quad of Marcus Senn. Already difficult to cope with riding a quad, a very physical bike indeed. Just imagine having also to repair it. But Senn carried on the special. So, technical problems for some, falls for others. And for these two British riders, Darren Dewsbury, but also Simon Collis. And the problems also concerned the cars. And this Spanish pair, Jorge Gaig and Rosendo Turinan, the rear hub of the BMW damaged here. Time to lie down and do the necessary. And a hammer can do miracles. Very demanding tracks and ruts for both man and machine. And to finish a Dakar, one has to know how to drive. But probably most of all, one has to know how to repair. And the Spaniards were back in the race. Despite the pain, the loss of time, they eventually were to finish the special. 4 hours drift, more falls in this one for Belgian Yves Teninck, and almost one for Jean-François Darin of France. Meanwhile, problems continued for poor old Marcus Senn. Still that clutch. Much more serious were the worries of car number 336, the Honda of Pascal Thomas and Pascal Larocque. A serious crash for them, no injuries however, but a bruised and battered car. Everything's ripped up, ripped off, explains co-driver Larocque. Well, explains Thomas, we were in the start. Since the start, we were being very careful, not overtaking. But we'd been following a buggy for over 30 kilometers, and the track was wide. And when we overtook, we crashed the car. Well, the French pair were unfortunately forced to quit the race. Rally over for the Honda. End of story on the Dakar. And the Dakar heads further south but remains in Morocco, taking off from Er Rashidia, a 639 kilometer stage including a 386 kilometer special, short liaison to warm up, and then a Dakar classic, the first dunes, sandy stretches and stone tracks. Navigation will be even more important. Tonight the competitors will be in the splendid city of Ouarzazate. Freezing cold conditions in the first hours of the day when the bikers took off for their stage. Temperatures under zero during the night. It was time to wake up and warm up, heading south to warmer conditions. A long and demanding stage indeed. A bad day yesterday for Isidre Esteve, who struggled with navigation. He finished 19th at stage 3 and therefore took off in 19th spot this morning. So one could certainly expect the Spaniard to manage something good today. Well, it wasn't good, it was excellent. The KTM Gauloise rider clocked the fastest time of the day, just over 4 hours on his bike. Esteve caught up with over a dozen riders on his way to his 6th triumph in the Dakar. And unlike the big guns, the Spanish rider rode most of the day on his own, entering the first dunes of the event. A real classic of a stage today, all of what Morocco has to offer: navigation, rocky parts, and then sand stretches, the Azougamerg. According to title holder Cyril Deprez, it was like riding the famous Le Touquet race, the famous enduro event based in north of France. Surprising to see hundreds of fans massed in the dunes. Cyril Deprez, title holder, started the day special in 3rd position, just behind Andy Caldecott and Andy Grider. Not the best of positions, but one of the race favourites. And the KTM Gauloise leader was soon to catch up with the men in front. But Deprez was also to be caught up by Mark Coma at CP1, that's kilometre 122. Deprez versus Coma. The battle in the battle of this Dakar, and at refueling they were both together. Less fuel, more stops. A very funny stage, explains Coma, with the first dunes. Many spectators, many Spanish spectators. I was happy to say hello to everybody. I caught Cyril, and we'll see what will happen in the last 150 kilometers. The end of the Atlas Mountains in Morocco. And Ludivine Puy, the lady on her KTM, explaining that it isn't easy for a lady. She's doing beautifully so far. Managed to finish the Dakar last year and make it to the podium by the Lac Rose. A great day for Spain with a victory for Isidre Esteve and a new overall leader, Mark Coma. Good day for him. and it was to be expected. He took off in a later position, caught up all his rivals, and at the end of the day he could enjoy a 4-minute 51-second advantage on the day's winner, Isidre Esteve Pujol. Cyril Desprez is currently in third position overall, 5 minutes and 6 seconds adrift. He finished the day in 4th spot. Good day as well for Carlo De Gavado, the Chilean, a new official rider for the KTM Repsol team. He finished third today, and he's 4th overall. A support rider for Isidre Esteve, David Casteux, again impressive today. He finished 5th, losing some 15 minutes on the day. Andy Caldecott, winner yesterday, who explained after the stage that it was very, very difficult with the navigation, difficult to choose the right track. A bad day for David Frétinier. He lost 18 minutes on his smaller 450cc Yamaha, and he explained that the day had been very, very fast, a lot faster than the previous days. And happy birthday to Chris Place, 25 years of age today. He's 10th overall. So to the results, Isidre Esteve victor today in front of his compatriots Marc Coma. Desprez is in 4th spot in front of the other French rider David Casteux. And in the overall standings, Coma has close to a 5-minute advantage on Isidre Esteve. Cyril Desprez is just behind. A typical Moroccan stage with many stones, very rugged roads, dunes, and a final fast section. 380 kilometers explains Coma. Quite a lot for today. Now we can say that the Dakar has really started. It's time for true things. I like the fact that GPS is reduced because the Dakar has become more difficult to explain, explains Esteve. Now we're in Morocco when we always have tracks, and as a consequence it's very difficult for a rider starting in front not to be caught by those starting behind him. But when we're in Mauritania and we face the dunes, then things will change. These days starting in front and winning is difficult, but not impossible if you manage to keep a good pace since the beginning. And tomorrow I will start in front. I'll try to do it. Desprez explains that in Morocco we always have surprises because there are many tracks, and so the navigation becomes tricky. Added to that, this year we have no GPS at all. We have no co-driver. So for the moment I just try to keep focused and keep a good pace. So now it's not time for playing games, at least for me. Last year, explains David Frétinier, was much slower. And more than that, weather conditions helped me a lot because it forced us to go slower. This year conditions are perfect and the speed is very high. I hope that in Mauritania speed will slow down. Otherwise it's going to be very difficult.